This is a true story about a young man, a dog, and a stiff leather handle. The sentences are short, and the story moves step by step. Listen for a telegram with only one word in it. Here we go. In November 1927, a magazine article appeared in America. Not long after, a father in Nashville, Tennessee, read it aloud to his son. The son, Morris Frank, was 19. He had lost his sight at about 16. The article described a school in Germany where dogs were trained to guide blind people through busy streets. This was not new. Schools in Germany had been doing this work for more than 10 years. By the early 1920s, hundreds of dogs had been trained. But in America, almost nobody knew. Morris listened to every word. He wanted to walk out of his own door alone. Morris wrote to the author of the article, Dorothy Eustace. He asked whether the story was really true. He wanted one of those dogs, and he promised to bring the dog home and show what a blind man could do on his own. Weeks later, a telegram arrived. It said that Mrs. Eustace would telephone that night. On the call, she did not promise to send him a dog. She invited him to Switzerland to come and learn. In April 1928, Morris sailed for Europe in the care of a travel company. He later wrote that he was sent across as if he were a parcel. At night, a steward locked his cabin door. His suitcase went wherever other hands carried it, and so did he. A suitcase is a box with a handle for carrying clothes on a journey. A suitcase is something you hand over. A passenger is not. Morris arrived in Vevey, Switzerland, at the end of April. Mrs. Eustace ran a farm high above the town. It was not a school for the blind. It bred and trained working dogs. There Morris met a young female dog. Her kennel name was Kiss. Morris did not want to shout that name across a crowded street, so he gave her a new one, Buddy. Around her neck she wore a collar. A collar is a band that goes around an animal's neck. But a collar was not what he would hold on to. What he would hold on to was the harness. A harness is a set of leather straps a dog wears with a handle on top for a person to hold. This handle was stiff, not soft, and shaped like a narrow arch. A soft leash tells you almost nothing. A stiff handle tells you everything at once. When the dog slowed, the hand felt it in the same moment. That short piece of leather carried the whole message. For about 5 weeks, Morris and Buddy trained together. At the German school, the guiding had been built on ordinary lessons: sit, lie down, fetch, carry. The signals were all movements of the body. For steps or for a car across the way, the dog sat down. At the edge of a street, the dog pulled back and stood still, and the man found the edge with his cane. A cane is a stick a person holds to feel the ground in front of them. For a tree or a lamp post, the dog leaned away, and the man followed the pull. On June 11, 1928, their ship reached New York. Reporters were waiting at the pier. One of them dared Morris to cross West Street, which ran along the river. Morris later wrote that it was much wider than Fifth Avenue and that it carried the heaviest kind of traffic. He took the handle and told the dog to go forward. Buddy stopped, started, and leaned. He followed. Trucks and horse carts rolled past on both sides. Then his shoe touched the far curb. He had crossed, and he had held on to the handle the whole way. Then came the journey home. At the door of the railway carriage, a conductor stopped them and said Morris could not bring that dog on board. Morris turned the sentence around. The dog was bringing him. Buddy walked in and lay down under a seat. The next morning in Nashville, Morris kept his promise. He and Buddy rode a streetcar to the telegraph office. A streetcar is a small rail car that runs along a city street. There he sent Mrs. Eustace a telegram of one word: success. The clerk asked whether that was all. It was. Before he left Switzerland, Mrs. Eustace had given him a second task. Across America, signs on doors said that dogs were not allowed. Restaurants turned them away. Hotels turned them away. To turn away means to refuse to let someone come in. Streetcars did it too. On one railway, Buddy had to ride in the baggage car among the suitcases. His task was to make the harness as ordinary as a cane. So he argued at one door, then the next, and then the one after that. It took years, and it was done one door at a time. One way of traveling was still closed: the air. On May 16, 1938, Morris and Buddy flew from Chicago to Newark. It did not happen because a rule had changed. Morris later described it as a personal arrangement. A company officer telephoned the head of the airline, and the two of them were carried on that flight. It was not yet a right. It was one more door, opened by hand. 3 words from this story. First, a harness. The leather straps a dog wears with a handle on top. Morris did not hold a soft leash. He held the stiff handle of a harness. Second, a collar, the band around the animal's neck. Every dog has one, and it tells you nothing about the work. Third, a cane, the stick a person holds to feel the ground. Remember that the whole task was to make the harness as ordinary as the cane. Here is a piece of language worth keeping. At the carriage door, the conductor said that Morris could not bring the dog on. Morris answered that the dog was bringing him. Same verb, bring, only the subject changed and the whole argument changed with it. Notice one more thing. I have said about 5 weeks, and he later wrote more than once. English uses soft phrases like these when the record is thin. Here is one idea to take away. Nothing about the dog changed across those 10 years. Same dog, same collar, same stiff handle. In 1928, the harness was the reason a door was shut. Staff saw an animal and turned them away. By the end, the same harness was the reason a door opened, because the harness now meant working dog rather than pet. The thing that got him refused became the thing that got him admitted. He did not win an argument about dogs. He made the harness legible. 7 days after that flight, Buddy died, and he buckled the same harness onto the next dog and called her Buddy too. 3 quick questions. 1. What did Morris's father read aloud to him in 1927? A magazine article about a school in Germany. 2. When the dog guided him, what did he hold on to? The stiff handle of the harness. 3. What did the one-word telegram from Nashville say? Success. If you caught all 3, this level fits you well. That is the story of Morris and Buddy. He was sent out like a parcel, and he came back holding on to a handle. If parts felt fast, listen again tomorrow. The second time always feels lighter. Read the subtitles once, then listen without them. Next time, another true story that sounds invented but happened. Thanks for listening.